bluesy, it just makes me feel black and blue.
And after so many years of it, too.
Yeah, it's bad. And then you got guys like Shawn Michaels who walks in the locker room and goes, "Well, he's the big show." Just a sexy boy. Why do you do that? It's cool that Shawn Michaels likes to sing your song, but on the other hand, it's like, Shawn Michaels is singing my song. My song sucks. I don't know how to feel about this right now. It's very bad.
Have you thought about turning it around on him? Every time he walks in, just start singing "Sexy Boy," maybe annoy him?
No, it's creepy if I do so. Especially in a locker room full of men. It's like, okay. I'm dressing by myself. So, what's up?
If you guys have any questions for our guests, there is a microphone in the center of the room. We're going to try to get to as many as possible throughout the course of the 45 minutes, so feel free to start
45 minutes? Hell, it takes 45 minutes for me just to put on my boots.
Let's watch it for 45 minutes of Big Show's putting on his boots.
I get cowboy boots. It's funny, I've lost a lot of weight, and I just put these boots on. I haven't worn them in a long time. And walking around this convention center, my feet are literally slipping and sliding inside of my boots. And I'm sitting there going, wow, I've lost so much weight, my boots don't even fit anymore. That's nice. Okay, where's Whataburger? My cowboy boots fit. They're too small. What's up? Anybody got a question? Somebody, please.
Well, speaking of being of a large size, I met.
Let's not go there. There's kids here.
No, we're not talking about that. I met your agent Tim White yesterday. I talked to him for the first time.
Timmy White.
And the very first thing he points out, he goes, "You know, you're going to shake his hand. You're going to be impressed with how big he is, but he's no Andre the Giant."
Yeah.
The very first thing that Tim says to me, he's not like, "Oh, Big Show's a nice guy" or anything. He's just, "No Andre."
No, I'm completely different. Andre was a mean, grumpy son of a gun. Andre was in a different era. To be fair about it, I mean, our era is completely different than Andre's. Andre's era was a lot of smaller guys, a lot of guys that were wrestlers that were 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". There was that period in the late 80s and early 90s where there were some big guys like Warlord and guys like that. But Andre came from a different area and territories, and Andre was able to be very protected in those territories because he would come in, work in territory for 8-10 weeks from our program, move on to another territory. And with Vince owning everything now, there's one territory. So it's really hard as a giant to work that Andre style of come in, work strong. That's what everybody's used to. You could do that for 8 or 10 weeks because then you would go to another territory and work strong. You go to another territory and work strong. And then by the time you came back 8 months later, you could work strong again. 16 years here, you can't work strong every day. It just doesn't happen. You have to build new talent. And unfortunately, Arn Anderson tells me all the time the worst thing I ever learned how to do was learn how to work. Because now I'm good at getting everybody over. So awesome. When I was 500 pounds, chain smoking, and terrible in the ring, I was world champion. And I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm a pretty decent worker, and I can't win a match. Somewhere I did my algebra wrong. It's like, work hard, get in shape, and I'll get it. No. Damn.
I don't want to point out Tim White if he's still in the room. He's an incredible guy. I tease him, but he's an incredible guy himself.
Tim might pull your esophagus out.
That's why I'm
an old grizzled veteran. We don't mess with guys like Timmy White. Timmy White tells you to go outside and stand in the snow in your underwear, and you go, "Yes, sir, Mr. White." You go stand outside in the snow in your underwear. What's up, man?
Hey, man, I'm finally getting to come talk to you and whatever, but my favorite thing of recent day is whenever you and Chris Jericho were tag team champions.
Oh, Jericho?
Yeah.
It was funny. The guys used to laugh about Chris and I tagging together because Chris and I have known each other since WCW. And Chris and I were the first two to defect from WCW to WWE after the Monday Night Wars because it was a pretty big coup for WWF at the time to get Chris Jericho out because we weren't staying with Eric Bischoff. He was such an egotistical douche. So Jericho and I have been around each other forever. Jericho and I actually in Tampa lived 3 houses apart from each other in our houses in Tampa. And I used to always call Chris and his family the Frolics because like I'd be in my house and my window looks across the lake and then there's Chris's house 3 houses down and Like I'm sitting there watching TV and I look out my window, and we're on an off day, so you're not going to go bother another wrestler on his off day. It's like I see this guy 5 days a week. The last thing I do is see him on my off day. And Chris is out there with his family and his dogs and his wife, and they're rolling around in the grass, and they're like, what is he so freaking happy about? He's out there frolicking. Babe, Chris is out there frolicking around again. I'm sitting there looking at him, I hate him. He's so happy. He's holding his little brand new baby up, and they're rolling around the grass, and the dog's yipping, and it's like, I hate him. But Chris, you know, it's funny, when Chris and I were Jericho, I learned a lot from Chris Jericho. I'll tell you, Chris Jericho is very underrated as far as how good he really is. I mean, I'm not talking about his in-ring match stuff, we get it, there's going to be a lion salt, it's going to take him, you know, he's going to get his stuff in. But Chris is really good about telling a story and good psychology. And when Chris and I were tagging together, the guys would laugh, because I would ask Chris, I'd like, where are we on the card? Because they would print the order of the matches up and they'd be in the locker room. This is before I got LASIX. So where are we on the card? And he would tell me and I couldn't hear him. I'd say, where are we? He goes, put your freaking glasses on. So it's like we're like an old married couple. But he was amazing at, Chris would pump me up all the time. Like we'd have matches and I was like, oh, I can bump and feed here for Thaddeus. He goes, you're not bumping and feeding him. You're like Gigantor. You're a giant. They don't bump you, they don't knock you down. I'm like, well, that sounds great, Chris, but if I don't fall down, matches get pretty boring. But if you want to bump and fall down, by all means, go ahead. So, Chris,
would you want that again, you two tagging again?
Yeah, I love tagging with Chris. Chris is easy because for me, I didn't have to deal with politics and trying to explain to guys why certain things doesn't make sense and why we should do that. The hardest problem I have right now after doing this for 18, 19 years is trying to explain to younger guys in a more polite way why their idea is completely insane and ludicrous and doesn't make any sense through the laws of physics or the laws of wrestling. I will do all I can to enhance your theoretical athletic ability, but you know, it's always a debate because you don't want to crush a guy's spirits when he's first starting. You want to help him, you want to encourage him, you want to bring him along. You want to make him understand we're telling a story. This business is not about, hey, you do your move, I'll do my move, you do your move, I'll do my move. That's not the wrestling business. The wrestling business is a psychology, it's a story. So a lot of times now, and I can tell you right now, if you watch the shows with a lot of the younger guys, because right now there's such a lack of veteran leadership, because there's two guys that are veterans, really, that work every weekend, three guys. There's me, Cena, and Kane. We're the only three guys that are real veterans that work all the time, that are from the era of telling stories in a match. You know, you're going to see the baby faces who go out and shine. Now a shine is when the baby faces look good in the beginning. Now sometimes a shine lasts like 10 minutes. It's like, okay, well you're shined so long, and then now that the rules have changed, we can't get heat behind the referee's back anymore because, oh, it makes the referee look stupid. My opinion is, who gives a crap if the referee looks stupid? I mean, you want things to be exciting. You want heat behind the referee's back. That's why you're a heel. If you just hit a babyface and knock him down with one move, you're just a stronger guy. You know, I miss the old days of comebacks where you look back in when tag team wrestling was very hot and you went crazy for tag team wrestling. It was because two heels fed a babyface's comeback. That one babyface sat on the apron, he crawled and he begged for the tag, and Rock and Roll Express, and just give him the tag, give him the tag. Ricky's over there selling, the girls are crying, you know, everybody's going crazy, and boom, that tag is made. And then you come in and it's clothesline, you clothesline each guy, you hip toss each guy, you tackle each guy. Both heels are feeding, and it's exciting. Now, because the guy on the apron is not legal, he has to stand there and watch or get bumped off the apron. To me, I think we've hurt our industry by trying to cater to people that really aren't fans of our industry, because we're working so hard to broaden our product and make our product worldwide and create more sponsorship and create all these things to bring our product to so many more households, that a lot of times that us, the real wrestling fans, us that love the product, sometimes we suffer a little bit because there's always some idiot out there that goes, well, why does that other guy in the apron jump in the ring? Oh, okay, he's not legal. The referee looks stupid. Okay, first of all, who cares if the referee looks dumb? That's wrestling. That's pro wrestling. Second of all, he's jumping in because it's a creative liberty. He's upset that his partner's getting the crap kicked out of him. So there you go. That answers the question for me, but our business has changed and evolved, and that's the world we live in. So you can bitch about it and complain about it, but there's one guy that really signs the checks, and it's his company, and he wants it done a certain way. And I look at what he's done in the industry, how successful he's made it, how global he's made it. I figure he's a lot smarter than I am, so I'll just shut up and do what I'm told.
You're a big fan. Speaking of tag teams, other than Jericho, I guess, if you could pick one guy on the current roster or NXT as a tag partner, who would you choose?
I wouldn't pick anybody in NXT.
Okay.
I don't want to be teaching. I don't want to be out there trying to explain to somebody what to do. I would pick a partner that I know that I don't have to think about, that understands psychology, that understands heat, that's not going to bury baby faces in the corner by getting their heat 5 feet from where their partner's going to tag. I think, again, that's why you want to pick a partner that you know is going to be easy to work with if somebody that's over. You know, I would pick, if I had to go back in time and pick great tag team partners, of course, you know, you got Kane. You got Undertaker. Undertaker was the single greatest tag partner other than Jericho that I think I've ever had, because Taker was just so cool. He did everything right. I mean, I used to be amazed by Taker as his opponent and as his partner, because you would sit out there. I'm in the industry, I'm in the business, and sometimes I'd sit on the apron and go, damn, he's good. You know, it's amazing when you look at Undertaker, who's 6'10", who understands every aspect of the business and what needs to be done at what time, and it's really a really amazing thing if you guys ever go back, especially with this network now. You've got the access to see a lot of Taker stuff, and not necessarily the WrestleMania stuff, but you go back, you see some of Taker's matches back in the day, and see the athleticism that he brought, the way he worked his character, the way the stories he told in the matches, the way his character would evolve. He never stayed stagnant. He never stayed, you know, 3 punches, shoot you in, big ropes, drop a leg, Hulk Hogan stuff. I mean, you know, Hulk's character never evolved. It evolved with the NWO, and it brought Hulk to life. But, you know, Taker's character's always evolved. He stayed true to Undertaker, but he's always evolved. He knew what the trend is. He's really great.
Even as he Mark Howard in the way, he was great. He wasn't like Undertaker, but he was like...
No, but he had it. You know, there's guys that are going to have it. There's guys that are going to have great athleticism that you can try to talk psychology, and they're not a fan since they were a kid, that don't understand, and it's going to be hard for them to translate. That's the difference that you guys, I think, sometimes don't understand what you're seeing. You'll watch a match, and you look at it and you go, there's something right. I don't like that guy. I don't like what he does. And it's not his promos, it's not his heat. You don't think he's a good wrestler. It's because he's missing it. And it is that timing. Like, you look at Randy Orton, whether you like Randy Orton or not, you look at Randy Orton and you go, God, he's beautiful. He does, his timing is amazing. Randy Orton does 4 moves. He does 4 moves. Randy Orton does not have a plethora of offense. Randy Orton is not a high flyer. But Randy Orton understands psychology and timing. Randy Orton is a natural heel. He understands that whole snake, kill, take advantage, mean streak. That's it. That's when guys have it, and you can see it in the ring belts. Like, you look at Roman Reigns has it. When you watch him work, his timing, his performance, his showmanship, his look, he's got it. You know? Yes, sir. How'd that feel? Great. That was one fat check. I remember there's kids here. I tend to drop bad words every now and then, so I keep scanning, going, okay. What can I say? PG. Yes, sir.
Hey, Big Show, I've been a fan since WCW days. What would you say is your best match that you had in your career?
My best match I've had in my career? Well, My best match, and I've been asked this question a lot, so the first time somebody asked me, I didn't have an answer for it. I was like, I don't know, I haven't had it yet. I still live for tomorrow. But, and I still have that philosophy. I still love what I do. I love going out there with a guy that can go, a guy that understands his character, a guy that knows how to be aggressive with me as a big man, somebody that I can bump and feed for, somebody I can get heat on, somebody I can feed a comeback to. I still look for that good match, that good storyline, that good run. But my greatest personal match that I've ever had was in France a few years ago. It was on one of our European tours, and obviously we were in France. I was wrestling Undertaker, and we were wrestling in a Coliseum that was built in 300 AD by the Romans. This Coliseum actually had real gladiator games in it. At one time it was used as a hospice during the plague. They put plague victims in there, used it like a hospital, a hospice. They also used that Coliseum one time as a fort to defend themselves against a rival invasion. They actually held off from being invaded by using the fort like they would a castle. They put the townspeople inside of the Coliseum and they defended it from the top. It sat probably, I'm guessing, 14,000, 15,000 people in there. It was all stone. You could see the art and the history of the stone. And I fought Undertaker in the main event that night. I remember Mike Chioda almost had a heart attack that night. Because Chioda comes in and goes, what's the finish? What's the finish, guys? And I let him take it. I said, what's the finish? And Taker goes, I don't know. What's the finish? I said, I don't know. And we looked at Chioda and said, whatever happens is the finish. And Chioda goes, guys, come on, you're going to tell me the finish. We don't know yet. It's just going to happen. And it was one of those nights where Taker and I probably went 35 or 40 minutes of probably just incredible WrestleMania-esque performances from both of us. And it was just, Taker and I were both feeling good. The crowd was amazing. The way the acoustics were in this Coliseum, when the crowd roared, it was like standing in the ocean and even a wave hit you. You could feel the reverberation of the fans, and it just, I mean, there was choke slams off the top from me. I took from Taker. There was Taker put me in a go-go plata. I mean, power bombing, to me, choke slamming Taker and him kicking out, to knockout punches and him kicking out. I mean, it was just one of those things that back and forth, and then finally, I think we finally finished off with a second or third go-go plata attempt, and I tried to get out of it, and then I asked Taker, I said, now? And he goes, yeah, now. And I tapped out, and just the roar of the place, and I remember being exhausted. I remember sitting in the back. It wasn't even locker rooms. There was like benches with like white tents around it. That was a locker room because I didn't have a locker room set up. And I remember sitting on the bench, and I remember Taker walk in, and Taker's not a man of a lot of words, but I remember he walked in and he patted me on the top of the head and said, good match, kid, which, you know, believe it or not, that's like John Wayne telling me you did something good. And I remember saying, like, wow, that's probably the greatest match I've ever had. Then I went, damn, it wasn't on TV. Nobody's going to see it. Yes, sir.
Okay, kind of going back to what you said about Undertaker constantly adapting, I've always appreciated how your characters evolved over the years.
No, I just didn't know what to do with me. But
One of yours was when you were trying to find your character and coming out dressed up like various wrestlers doing impressions every week.
right.
I think we could get a couple impressions today.
Thanks, jerk. That whole thing was me just clowning around. That's one thing you never want to do around Vince, is you never want to clown around and do something really well, because Vince will put it on TV. That's fantastic. Book it. Yeah, the impersonations were just trying to find something. You know, it's amazing. I look at it and I could be cynical about it and be bitter and say, what the hell, I'm 7 foot tall, 420 pounds now, I'm a hell of an athlete, I know how to work. What do you mean we don't have anything for me? But at the same time, to turn that and make it more positive, I'm very blessed in the fact that I'm able to do whatever I need to do in my job. That's probably why I've been around as long as I have. 16 years at WWE, 14 WrestleManias, and all that is my ability to adapt. So whether I need to be an angry heel or whether I need to be put on TV and have Stephanie tell the world that I'm broke, impotent, angry, which I gave up an angle with Triple H to fight Randy that I didn't have an issue with, to put him over clean in a title match that I wasn't going for. Yeah, the check was good. Okay. Versatility is the main thing. I tell a lot of our young guys this: don't get set on one thing. This is not your character. This is not who you are. Stone Cold went through how many attempts and some successes. Austin Idols, Hollywood Blonde, all the different characters and things that Steve went through until he became, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then, bam, magic happens. Sometimes it takes a while for magic. I think my magic's already happened. I think it's magic that I'm still here. But Vince has a saying, and I tell this to younger guys, and they probably look at me like I've got 4 heads and I'm full of crap. But Vince has a saying, treat every day like your first day of work. And if you do that with your career, it'll help you. Because there'll be times you'll walk in like, okay, why am I putting this guy over? Why am I doing this? Your first day of work, you don't care what you do. You're just happy to be here. You take that positive energy, and that positive energy comes out in whatever you're doing and who you're working with. And it benefits, most importantly, it benefits you all, the audience. So the main thing is to try to treat every day like it's your first day of work. And, if they need me to do impressions, they need me to cry, they need me to get angry, whatever it is, hey, you take it with a smile, you look at the big picture. Hey, I'm lucky the past 19 years I've never had to get a job. I don't have any job skills. I can pass out shopping carts at Walmart. So I'm pretty doggone thankful to travel the world. I'm a small town kid from South Carolina. So I'm traveling the world. I'll get a chance to give my daughter a great college education. My family has a nice home. My comfort and solace is I go into the fridge in the garage, it's full of food. I go in the fridge in the house, it's full of food. I go in the pantry, it's full of food. I'm okay with that. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Touched on a little bit about the way the business is nowadays.
Right.
I came up around Greensboro, North Carolina, when we were late 70s, early 80s, where it was a real hotbed. Moved down here, went to my first wrestling match as a teenager. And when you used to go, I mean, you were rabid fans. I mean, it was all about wrestling. Everybody knew what was going on. Nowadays, as an adult, I go, and you still have some of that, but you have people who are maybe on a Friday night or a Monday night want to get on TV or don't have anything to do. It's something to do. And do you think that's watered it down where you talk about the product? You have to watch it. You can't do like with a tag team. You can't do like you used to. And we want everybody to see it, but it's, you have something that's just kind of like, oh, this is cool, get on the phones and play around. And
I think it's just the evolution of business, bro. It's the evolution of rock and roll. I mean, rock and roll's changed. We went from, Led Zeppelin and AC/DC to Green Day. Things evolve, things change. Our business has really evolved and changed. You talk about that rabid atmosphere, and I know what you're talking about when you say that. You still get that in pockets. But you look at how our business is geared now. Our business is family friendly. Our business is PG. Our arenas now, I remember in the Attitude Era, it was full of kids 18 to 25, and if you're working, and there were girls ringside flashing boobs. It's not that way anymore. There's families, there's children. This is a family environment. Kids are bonding with their dads. They're going to their first wrestling matches. There's divas that we have now, which is, I remember back when I was first started, I tell the younger guys our card. I remember working, it was Rock versus Stone. This is a card we ran every night, every week. Rock versus Stone Cold, Mick Foley versus Triple H, Undertaker versus Kane, New Age Outlaws versus APA, Edge and Christian versus Matt and Jeff Hardy, Big Show versus Mark Henry in a body slam match, Jackie versus Irie, Al Snow versus Bob Holly, and that was a card we ran every night. And you look at that card, there's a lot of Hall of Famers on that card. That's a pretty amazing card. Along comes UFC, mixed martial arts, cages, blood, guys getting teeth knocked out, guys getting their eyebrows split open. You're 18 to 25 to 35-year-old kids that aren't going to worry about paying the mortgage, so they're going to blow their college tuition money, and they're going to go buy UFC tickets. They're not buying wrestling tickets anymore. That's where they cut to the chase and skipped the psychology and went straight to what they wanted. So our business to survive had to adapt and change. So we adapted and changed, and we made our product more family friendly. Now, because of that more family friendly product, do we lose a little bit of the wrestling purity that we loved growing up? Do we lose a little bit of that? Sure we do. But what do we gain from it? What we gain from it is a bigger product that has the ability to be more positive and more influential in areas that we all care about, with Special Olympics, with Make-A-Wish, with National Guard, with Habitat for Humanity, with all the different programs, with our DIVA program now, that actually shows that it's okay for a woman to be smart, beautiful, powerful, and athletic, and fight to be a champion. I mean, I have a 16-year-old daughter. I love the fact that we have a Divas division that shows it's okay for a girl to want to be an athlete, to want to succeed, to want to be a champion. So, do we lose some of the wrestling purity of you know, razor blades taped to the fingers and loser leave town matches? Sure, we lose some of that. But the overall, what we gain from it is a worldwide product and a chance to impact local communities and show that our product is changed and matured and it's okay for you to bring grandma, mom, dad, the kids, and everybody can come. And relatively what you spend on WWE tickets for a show is compared to any other entertainment that's out there, live entertainment, dollar for dollar, it's a better value and it's better for the families. So, yeah, there's always going to be that part of me that says, oh man, I can't believe they got these diesel train engines, I miss steam. Okay. Things evolve, you know, things evolve. And again, it comes to adaptability. You know, every now and then, the planets will align, the angles will align, you get the right players, the right superstars, and we get rewarded with that feeling that we love. We'll get that tag team that's actually over, despite the limitations that tag teams have to go through. You know, we'll find that special athlete, that Daniel Bryan, that Roman Reigns, that Randy Orton, that guy that helps you, pulls you in and gives you what you want and what you need from our business. I mean, it still does it to me. I mean, I'm in this, and God knows after this many years and behind the scenes and knowing how many prima donnas we actually do have to work with, every now and then I still get that magic moment where I just go, I love what I do and I love this. This is awesome. So, yeah, evolve and adapt. I sound like, you know, some kind of science teacher. Evolve and adapt. I'm from X-Men. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, so you've been one of my favorites just going back to watching you in OVW. I was at WrestleMania 30 this year, and it was probably one of the best days I've ever had. You know, with Daniel Bryan wrestling over an hour, the streak getting beat. I thought you were...
The streak getting beat, you thought was good? What kind of... I'm sorry, sir, you're entitled to your opinion, but I think the streak getting below was the absolute worst thing that's ever happened.
I definitely agree with you there. I just thought it was unpredictable.
Well, okay, unpredictable is me getting my head chopped off in the middle of To me, personally, the streak was the last pure thing we had in this business that was untouched. It was for all of us that are wrestling fans and viewers. You didn't care who the Undertaker was fighting. Didn't matter. You wanted to see the mystique. You wanted to see the entrance. You wanted to see it go up 22-0, and you appreciate that guy for all the hard work he's done. For that to happen for a guy we really don't even have under contract that shows up whenever. It's great for Brock, but how does it affect our product? How does it help us that are on the road every Friday through Tuesday that are working live event shows that are trying to draw houses and fill seats overseas in Europe and fill seats in Japan and fill seats in Australia when we don't have these guys that make the town?
That's awesome. Even your ending, I thought the Battle Royal was awesome.
I thought the Battle Royal was very good. I thought that was nice. I think everybody thought going into it that was going to be a salute to me which if you guys have seen my career, you know I don't get those. You ever heard a little engine that could? I'm the big giant that can't. But you know, the whole thing is I've had a great career and I'm okay with that. But I think I just wish they would have done Cesaro and Paul Heyman. I'd have liked Cesaro got that on his own. You had a built-in angle with Cesaro and Swagger. Cesaro defects from Real Americans. Boom, boom, boom. Cesaro's off and running on his own, and he established himself. You know, not that Paul Heyman's not brilliant. Paul Heyman brings a lot of great things to the business. His mind, his psychology, his ability to cut old school great heel promos. But I don't want to see Paul Heyman out there with Cesaro standing next to him talking about his client Brock Lesnar. It doesn't work for him. You know, Cesaro didn't need Paul Heyman. He didn't need it. That's just my personal opinion, but Cesaro is a very talented athlete who's a consummate gentleman, a consummate professional in the ring, who is definitely deserves everything that he's earning and everything that he's going to get. I like Cesaro. And, you know, if you're, probably my attitude is, you know, if you're going to put somebody over, put them over their finish. It's old school. It's not the kick out at 3.5 because, oh, I almost did it. No, if you're going to put somebody over, put them over. You know, if you're going to put Cesaro over, can Cesaro pick me up for a slam and hold me? Yeah, he can. Can he do it safely? Absolutely. And, you know, if you're going to do it, then do it. So we'll see where things go from there. But you know, like WWE, you don't like what's happening, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. Yes, sir.
Yes, I was wondering, what's your most memorable moment? I know two of mine.
My most memorable moment? Let me tell you something, brother. My most memorable moment. Boss Man. Boss Man and I, it was so cold in that cemetery, and we talked some PA into going out and getting us a bottle of Jack Daniels. So, by the time I dove on the casket and he was trying to drive away, we were both here. Everybody knows that story. It was like, he's trying to drive away, the wheels spin, I'm hammered, I'll jump on the casket. Yeah, that was a cold day, my God. We shot that somewhere in Connecticut, I believe, and it must have been 50 degrees outside. I mean, I had on leather pants, and I'm still cold. I can't believe I used to wear leather pants. Hello, young man. How are you?
If somebody wants to help him with the microphone, that'd be great.
What do you eat for dinner?
2 deep-fried midgets. And, it's funny. I've changed a lot over the years. I turned 42 in February, so I've changed my diet. I mean, for years I ran wide open, ate steak, and everything that was in front of me. I've changed now. You know, just more heart healthy. I've got a 16-year-old daughter. You know, you got to live for your family a little bit and live to be healthy. Too many of my friends that I've known for many, many years have all gone away. You know, the Brian Adams and Pillmans and Kurt Hennings, Rudes, I mean, all these guys that I've known for years. And, I stopped eating red meat, I stopped eating pork, I cut back on dairy. This is mainly Daniel Bryan's fault. But it's just trying to eat smarter and healthier, you know. I eat a lot of chicken, I eat a lot of rice, I eat a lot of beans, I eat a lot of fish, a lot of salmon, a lot of turkey. You know, I think my wife is going to actually explode if she makes one more turkey meatloaf. What do you want to eat, turkey meatloaf? Yeah, they yes, I know, that's good. Yeah, I just try to eat healthy. Believe me, there are moments where, like, you know, I want to murder like a double Fuddruckers 2-pound burger of chili. But Greg Hannon was staying strong. Who knows? We might have a nervous breakdown here. Who knows what? Might not good. Yes, sir.
If you could work with any one superstar, past or present, who would you work with? Also, what was up with that face when you got on mad at Hunter and you're like, ugh.
Love that face.
Yeah, you got on mad and like, just weird face. It was funny. I never laughed so hard at wrestling.
Good question. Superstar, past or present, I would have liked to have worked with Bret Hart in his prime. Bret knew how to make a big man look good. You look at the matches that Bret had with the Okas and some of the other big guys, and I call Bret Giuseppe, because like he comes around now and he's like an old gypsy with long hair, so I call him Giuseppe, and I talk to Bret a lot. Bret rode with me one time on my tour bus. A lot of you guys know I had a tour bus, and Bret hopped out of my bus one time for a ride. And Bret went on for an hour and a half about this great angle he had, an idea for me and him, so that he could work me even with his condition, but he could work it. This would be this great angle, we'd have a match. And so I'm sitting here for an hour and a half listening to his story, and the first 5 minutes I'm like, Bret, you can't wrestle, man. You have a stroke, you can't. Oh, no, but there's this new medicine, and in 6 months I'll be back healthy. And I'm like, really? Okay, I'm listening. So then we get this whole story, and how he's going to do this, and how we were going to get into the heat, and how the angle was going to start. And it all ended up with me tripping over the Canadian flag and him pinning it. For an hour and a half, I listened to Bret Hart take me on a ride on a joke. That's Bret Hart. But with a straight face, he just sat right there, and like he was serious, and you're like, okay, all right. Wait, I do what? I trip over. What? Are you ribbing me? Well, yeah. Bret, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, but it's pretty funny rib though, yeah? No, it's not funny. And I went to bed. And my mother had made me some chocolate chip cookies, and they're peanut butter chocolate chip, they're really good. I had left them on the counter of my bus, and apparently Bret decided to eat them all in the other night. Not only did he rib me for an hour and a half of the story, I got up the next morning and he ate all my homemade cookies. That's all right. That's why you don't let real old-time wrestlers on your bus. Duh. What time is it? Yes, sir.
We have about 5 minutes left, so we're going to try to get through the last 4 questions.
Who else is coming here after me?
We have Kevin Sorbo coming in.
Well, we're going to get Hercules to kick my ass. Hercules. What's up?
Who inspired you to go to wrestling?
Who inspired me going to wrestling? As a kid, I was a huge Ric Flair fan. I loved Ric Flair, and I loved Arn Anderson, and it was funny as a kid being a fan of Arn Anderson. And now, I don't know if you've heard me on Stone Cold's podcast or any of that stuff. Arn Anderson is one of my mentors and one of my dearest friends. So I would have to say that definitely Arn helped inspire me. That and the fact that I was flat broke and couldn't get a job anymore. So, and I was big and figured, hey, I could be one of those guys that gets beat up. Well, basically, that's what I do. Yeah, okay. Yes, sir.
One of the first wrestling matches I ever went to was in 2007 at DragonCon, and by accident, the two wrestlers, it was a tag team thing, they went out to the crowd, and one of them actually suplexed the other one through one of the walls in this very nice hotel. And they just kept on going like it was nothing. I was just curious if you had any experience like that where you just had something that happened, you're like, oh crap, and just kept on going.
To myself or to the equipment? Well, I know that a few years ago, I think 2008, we were doing some kind of ECW match, and when I had taken 07 off, I came back and they had changed the ring mats around the outside of the ring, but I didn't pay attention to it. And I used to do a spot where I'd pick the steps up, put the B on my head, and I would charge somebody, they'd drop kick my knee, I would drop to my knees and look like I put my face right in the V. It's an easy bump, it's close, it's not a big deal. Well, the new mats are a little bit more spongy. I didn't think about it. When I did the bump, I come down the steps, caught up, hit in the eye, and fractured my orbital sign. So I still had to finish the match, and I remember my face was busted open, the whole deal. And I remember Tommy Dreamer was in the ring at the time, and I'd come up from the ring all crazy. Tommy goes, "Oh my God." It's like Tommy the night there was just, it was the scariest thing I ever seen. I peed myself. And your face, and it was scarred, and I look at your face, I went, "Oh my God, I'm going to die." And I remember that night, I was riding with Mark Carano. It was somewhere in California. We were going over mountains, we were going to LA or somewhere. And I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and Mark Carano's driving, and I could see my face over here. And I looked at Mark, and I went, "Hey, is my face swollen?" And Mark goes, "I don't know, it's dark." And he turns on the light and goes, "Oh my God!" My face, because of the fractured orbital socket, the pressure was blowing all the face into the front, so my whole face was like out to here, like the Goonies or something. So, I was supposed to fly to Australia that Tuesday to do a tour in Australia, and I wound up being stuck in LA for 11 days because I couldn't fly with a fractured orbital sign because my face would blow up. So anyway, that's that story. Yes, sir.
All right. With you talking about the streak, I thought it was a precarious position. If you were Vince McMahon, how would you have ended the streak, or you would have kept going until you retired? How you would handle the whole streak situation?
First of all, there's no way on earth that I could ever pretend to be Vince McMahon. Whether you like what Vince has done, whether you like his TV character, I cannot stress to you how intelligent that man is. There's Leonardo da Vinci, there's Galileo, there's these great geniuses, Newton, Einstein, there's all these geniuses. In our industry, Vince is that superhuman genius. He runs with his gut. Whatever reason it was, that decision was made. Good or bad, personally me, I hate it. But one thing it did do is it got all of us talking about it. Good or bad. So whatever plays out in Vince's mind, we're all talking about it. So whether you like it or you don't like it, we're all talking about it. So that's the only way I know how to describe it. So,
If you did want to end it, who would you end it on?
if I was going to end the streak, I would have ended the streak with someone like Roman Reigns 2 years ago. Somebody that I know is going to be money down the road, somebody that I need to build, somebody that I need to put that stamp on. Or I wouldn't have beaten Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania this year, and I'd have Bray Wyatt do it 2 years from now. Because Bray Wyatt and Taker have that same kind of weird creepiness. Maybe there's a correlation there, but I don't think I would have done it. Brock didn't need it. He didn't need it. He didn't need to fight Taker, and he didn't need to break the streak. My personal opinion. Brock's a great guy, and he's an amazing guy. And really, Brock has done a good job of coming back and trying to really give to our business back to it, putting Cena over, putting the guys over that he's done. I'm sure Brock will come back and do more business with us down the road. But personally, you don't know what's going on, but Brock didn't need to break the streak just like I didn't need to break the streak. You know what I mean? If they just said, "Big Show, you're going to break the streak," I'd be like, "No, I'm not." I'll fake it and hit me. That's just, that's just a personal thing, And just like that, I'm a professional, I'm an athlete, and I'm part of the WWE. I'm also a fan too, and I'm just bitter because I'm a mark for the Undertaker, and I didn't want to see the streak program. So that's just me being bitter because I'm a mark. So, yeah, that's it.
First, thank you for being on.
All right, thank you. By the way, where's my wallet? You pull out a gun, or there's a bomb in your shoe, I'm just letting you know we will all kick your ass. You like the Purple People Eater?
Phantom Troublemaker.
The what?
Phantom Troublemaker.
The Phantom what?
Troublemaker.
Phantom Troublemaker?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's like me with gas in the movie theater.
When you were jackknife powerbombed by Kevin Nash,
Yeah,
you came back from that,
yeah.
and in rage, came down to the ring and tore the ring apart.
Yeah.
And that was, for me, the first adult moment I had where I got caught up.
Right.
Where it was, I forgot everything I knew about the business, which
Right.
admittedly wasn't much.
We still got to get kids there, so.
Exactly. I got caught up. It was, wow, look at that monster tearing that ring apart. Nothing else mattered. You were there in the moment. Do you still have moments like that?
I do. It's funny that you wearing purple because when I pulled that ring post out, I had a purple donut from doing that. So, yeah. Because it was supposed to be rain. It was supposed to be, Ellis Edwards, famous Ellis Edwards maneuver. Holy, pull this from the apron and it'll take the weight out. No, it didn't take the weight out. There was still 4,700 pounds I had to pull. And I was young, and I was on live TV, and my adrenaline kicked, and I did it anyway. But yeah, I was, my back and my butt hurt for a couple of days. I have moments like that where I see you all get behind somebody new. Those are my moments where stuff goes away. There are moments when you guys got behind Daniel Bryan for the first time, and I was behind Daniel Bryan a long time before that because I worked in the ring with him. Oh wow, this kid's good. He's good. Ooh, he's nice. He's good. So then, but you don't know if you guys are going to catch that or not. There's a lot of guys that you guys don't get with and they don't communicate to you, and that's the tough luck of it. Sometimes an athlete or a superstar can't communicate with you yet. So, but we know how good he is, and we work with him, we understand how good he is. You know, those are moments like that. I think Daniel Bryan moments were some of the real yes chants, not the ones where they put the t-shirts in and they encourage everybody to do it, the real heartfelt ones. The Fandango moment in the UK, the first time that happened from Fandango, you guys should have seen his face. I mean, I don't know if you guys know Johnny Curtis or not, but he is one extremely hard-working, great talent, and great kids. Like, I mean, he's a great young person in our business with a lot of fire and a lot of drive, and he's straddled with that Fandango gimmick. And let me tell you something, he doesn't complain, doesn't matter what you need him to do, he goes out there and gives 110%, does his character, if his character needs to look like an idiot, fine. He doesn't, you know what I mean? But when the UK, when you got that surprising Fandango response, I was up in gorilla, because most of the time on Monday Night Raw, I'm sitting in the gorilla position, and I watch the whole show from up there. That's just, there's a big chair up there that sits about 4 feet over. There's Hunter and Stephanie, and I sit over in the corner, and I watch all the matches, and I like little moments like that. And that little Fandango moment was good. So, you know, that's the thing about this business. I don't think no matter how long you do it, no matter what the business does to you as a professional, whether it tears your knees up, your back up, it touches you inside, it gets you in your blood, it becomes a part of your soul. And there's not a single wrestler that's ever wrestled that's ever done anything in this business. You know, they'll say they did it for money, they'll say they did it for fame, or whatever else, and I'm not going to try to sound cliche and say, oh, we do it all for you. There's a combination. There's a combination of fame. There's a combination of wanting to make the big money. And there's a big 75 to 80 to 90% of it for guys like me. That performance art of it, when we get you guys, when we help suspend that reality and we pull you into the moment, and you guys feel my rage and my frustration when I finally unload and drill Triple H in the face. You guys feel that, you know. When we all get there together, that's the moments you live for. I mean, that's the moments walking down that ramp and having those matches that you guys are behind it, and you guys enjoy the product, if you guys enjoy what we're doing, that's the candy that keeps us all coming back. And believe me, there's going to be highs and lows in this business. This business is going to be cyclatory, I believe, if that's a word. Probably if Ed was here, he'd tell me about it right or wrong. So Ed's just one of the smartest guys you'll ever meet. Does this. There's highs and lows. There's ups and downs. As a fan, all I can encourage you guys, if you're not happy with what's going on now, be patient. There's some great stars on the way. There's Roman Reigns, there's Seth Rollins, there's Dean Ambrose. There's the Wyatts, there's Bo Dallas, there's Bo Leader. There's an amazing talent in NXT and Aaron Neville. I don't know if you guys have seen him or anything yet. Oh my God, is he amazing. So just be patient, hold on, and there's still so many great years for wrestling back. And if they do their job right, they'll pull you in, they'll give you that magic moment. But I'm like you, brother. I'm like Fort Myers, Florida, Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair, Steel Cage Matthews, Louise Town.
Ladies and gentlemen, the big show.